A recent string of brutal attacks on elderly Asian Americans caught on video has brought new attention to the rise of violence and harassment of Asian Americans. Since the pandemic started, more than 3,000 anti-Asian hate incidents have been reported in the U.S., according to the group Stop AAPI Hate.
Tonight, disturbing new footage showing a 65-year-old Asian woman viciously attacked in broad daylight.
It could be anybody's any day tomorrow, you know.
A man repeatedly kicking her in the stomach on a New York City street, stomping on her.
It makes it almost scary to be a person who works at a Asian restaurant or any Asian-owned business, and even a person who owns it, in the sense where, again, it's one of those things where we never know what could happen, what will happen. The best you can do is just kind of be cautious towards the type of people that come into the store and everything like that. Whenever I go to like a restaurant, I'm always very cautious of like, you know, who's in the restaurant, just like kind of get a reading of like the room if anyone's like kind of giving me a look. That's been something that I've been doing a lot more recently. Even though, again, like the odds of something happening are very slim, but it could happen. That's just something to always be cautious of.
Obviously, economically speaking, right, a lot of Asian businesses, we have seen up to a 90% loss in business in the past year. And obviously, that's twofold, right? So not only were we facing a pandemic of COVID-19, right, it was a pandemic of ignorance as well. The past summer, we saw some vandalism at some of the small business owners' shops, where people have broken in windows, tried to rob, right? There's a lot of just cases like that. There's a split, right?
Split.
So obviously there is this huge contingent of an older generation that still owns a lot of property, but you know, probably in the past 5 years we've seen a lot of that transfer over to their children, right? And then we have a lot of a younger generation that is starting to really mobilize and create their own small businesses, right? So it's definitely split. One thing that we did start during the pandemic itself was Takeout Thursday, right? And so we would highlight a small business owner and their products every week, doing a showcase of marketing videos and promos for them, driving traffic to those areas. So that's one thing economically we're trying to help out with. We've helped a lot of the cities actually provide access to funding for these small businesses, which I want to say, I've got to think the number off my head, but we've helped bring in close to $3 million in funding for just different small business owners in regards to helping with elders, obviously working with the other organizations that are within the valley to provide the resources that we have to them, and even doing things like allowing our volunteers in our community to escort elders to grocery stores if needed. That's an option that we've been weighing upon. It's always been around, right? Obviously, there just hasn't been a spotlight, and we as a community haven't done a good enough job of speaking up, right? But I would say that recently, right, and this is what we talk about all the time, is words matter, words have consequences, right? And when you have an administration, like the previous administration, that refuses ownership of their own faults, has a perverse desire to push a target onto others, saying things like China virus or the Wuhan flu, it has consequences, and we're kind of seeing those consequences now. I would just say we need to continue to tell our stories, right? And that's so utterly important, and we have failed to do it, right? We need to speak up. We need to not falter, not fear, not hate. Continue living our lives, showing that we're not going to be afraid, and we're not going to live in fear. Just know that there are people working very hard for our community to ensure our safety and ensure that we're taken care of.